without further ado, I'm about to get into the Championship Sunday preview, and I'm starting with the AFC Championship game between the New England Patriots and the Denver Broncos. Now, the Patriots, they're coming off of a very dominant win over the Houston Texans in the divisional round. Shout out to Mike Vrabel. He's done a tremendous job in his first year as head coach. After the Patriots were 4-13 last year, they finished the regular season 14-3, won the AFC East. They won the wild card round against the Chargers, dominated the Texans. Now they're back here in the AFC Championship game, and Vrabel is definitely one of the favorites for Coach of the Year. He should be. Drake May, he's definitely improved this season. Matter of fact, he's one of the top 2 candidates for MVP. He finished the regular season with 354 completions on 492 attempts, over 4,300 passing yards, 31 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, with a 77.1 QBR rating. Also, he had a pretty solid game against the Texans in the divisional round. He finished with 16 completions on 27 attempts, 179 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Also, he definitely has some weapons on his team, such as the veteran Stephon Diggs, who's no stranger to the AFC East, as he played with the Bills for a couple of seasons. During the regular season, he had 85 receptions on 102 targets, over 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns. He had a nice game in the divisional round versus the Texans with 4 receptions on 6 targets, 40 yards, and a touchdown. Also, they have another receiver that's kind of slept on, in my opinion, in Kayshon Boutte. He finished the regular season with 33 receptions on 46 targets, 551 yards, 6 touchdowns. In the divisional round against the Texans, he had 3 receptions on 5 targets, 75 yards, and a touchdown. But the most underrated thing about the Patriots is their running game. They have veteran running back Ramondre Stevenson, along with the rookie Travion Henderson, fellow Buckeye. And these two are underrated 2-headed monster. During the regular season, they finished with 310 carries combined, over 1,500 rushing yards combined, with 16 rushing touchdowns combined. Now, Stevenson, he finished with 382 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. In the divisional round, Stevenson was a beast. He had 123 rushing yards despite not having any rushing touchdowns. Henderson, he finished with 52 rushing yards. And also, this Patriots defense is very dominant. They finished top 10 in almost every defensive category. They finished 8th in total defense, giving up only 295.2 yards per game. 9th in pass defense, giving up 193.5 passing yards per game. They were 6th in rush defense, giving up 101.7 rushing yards per game. They were 4th in points allowed, only giving up 18.8 points per game. They were 24th in sacks, only having 35 sacks, which averaged out to 2.0 sacks per game. They were 21st in takeaways, which they only got 19 takeaways. And they were very dominant against the against the Texans in the divisional round last week, as they forced 4 fumbles and an interception. So, man, this Patriots defense is a straight up beast. Well, hold on. Let me make sure I was correct on the turnovers that they created. Yep. Well, no, my bad. They forced 4 interceptions and 1 fumble in the divisional round versus the Texans. My bad. But man, they definitely have a great defense anchored by the Pro Bowlers, Christian Gonzalez and Marcus Jones. Man, that secondary is no joke. Also, they have Carlton Davis in the backfield, who doesn't get his just due as a corner, which he should. He definitely should get more props as a corner. Also, they have a pretty nice front with Harold Landry, Milton Williams, Christian Ellis. So this Patriots defense is definitely not to be played with, because they can definitely make any opposing offense's life miserable. Now, I'm about to move on to the Denver Broncos. They've had a great season under Sean Payton. They finished number 1 in the AFC. Now, the Broncos, they received some devastating news after the victory over the Bills in overtime last week in the divisional round. Starting quarterback Bo Nix fractured a bone in his ankle, so he's done for the rest of the playoffs. So now they're turning to former Patriots quarterback Jarrett Stidham to to lead them to the Super Bowl. For his career, he has 117 completions on 197 attempts with over 1,400 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and a 78.3 QBR rating. But this Broncos team does have some pretty nice weapons, such as the Pro Bowler Cortland Sutton. During the regular season, he finished with 74 receptions on 124 targets, over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. In the divisional round against the Bills, he finished with 4 receptions, 9 targets, 53 yards, but 0 touchdowns. And also, this guy is underrated. RJ Harvey, the rookie running back, during the regular season, he finished with 146 carries, 540 rushing yards, 7 rushing touchdowns. Also, he had 356 receiving yards and 5 receiving touchdowns. And also, this Broncos team has a very great defense, as they finished top 10 in almost every defensive category during the regular season. They were second in total defense, giving up 278.2 yards per game. They were 7th against the pass, giving up 187.2 passing yards per game. They were 2nd against the run, giving up only 91.1 rushing yards per game. They were 3rd in points allowed, giving up only 18.3 points per game. They led the league in sacks, as they finished with 60 sacks. That averaged out to 4 sacks per game. And they were 26 in takeaways, which they only ended up creating 14 takeaways. My bad. And also, they definitely showed their dominance over the Bills in the divisional round, as they forced Allen and that Bills offense with 4 fumbles and an interception, especially in overtime, as McMillan ended up getting the interception as he took the ball away from Brandon Cooks from an Allen pass. And there's plenty of talent on this Denver defense. Of course, you got the Pro Bowlers in defensive end Zach Allen, as well as the corner Patrick Surtain, who's definitely one of the best corners in the NFL. But also, you have the veteran Dre Greenlaw in that front. Well, on that front, as well as Jonathan Cooper, Alex Singleton, veteran nose tackle DJ Jones. So both teams here have some very stout great physical defenses. They get after it. They're ball hawks. They love forcing turnovers. You nearly got to play a perfect game to beat either the Patriots or the Broncos. Now, we all know in the playoffs, especially in championship games, there's always an X factor. That guy that you're not dependent on having a great game or a good game, but they step up in the moment and deliver and lead and help lead their team to a Super Bowl. Well, I'm about to tell you my X factors in this game for each team that can make a difference on whether they're taking a trip to Santa Clara or whether they're taking a trip to Cancun for the offseason. For the Patriots, it's the veteran tight end, Hunter Henry. Now, Henry, he's one of May's favorite targets during the regular season. He finished with 60 receptions on 87 targets. He also averaged 768 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns during the divisional round versus the Texans. He had 4 receptions on 7 targets, 69 yards, and a touchdown. And it seems like he's had a resurgence over here in New England since he signed with them. Now, also my X factor for the Broncos is wide receiver Troy Franklin. Now, he ended up leaving the game due to an injury against the Bills in the divisional round, didn't come back. But according to multiple reports, he did practice Wednesday, so it's very possible he could play. But if he does play, he can definitely be an X factor for Stidham. During the regular season, he finished with 65 receptions, 104 targets, 709 receiving yards, and 7 touchdowns. So Franklin, he's a pretty good wide receiver, and he could definitely have a big game on you at any moment. Oh, my apologies. Yeah, but Franklin, he is a pretty solid number 2 receiver. And he's he's definitely underrated. So if he could come back for this AFC championship game, that would definitely help out Jarrett Stidham tremendously. Now, here are my keys to the game. If you're the Patriots, you got to get pressure on Stidham quickly as possible. Also, you got to take that crowd out of it in Denver, because we all know Broncos fans around playoff time are very loud. Also, you feel like they're right on top of you when you play in that stadium. So you got to take the crowd out of it quick. You got to force Stidham into some turnovers. Do not give him any confidence, because if you take him lightly, hey, he can turn around. He can end up turning into another Nick Foles. I'm sorry for bringing that up, Patriots fans, but hey, I gotta be real. We all know what happened with Nick Foles got his shot in the playoffs. Led the Eagles to a Super Bowl title. But you don't want Stidham to have any confidence. Also, you got excuse me. Definitely got to defend the run, because Harvey, not only he can make plays on the ground, but he also make plays in the air as well, because he does have some pretty good hands, especially in the games that I've done live streams for. He's had some great receiving games, like the Sunday night game against the Commanders back in November in DC. Also, you got to win the line of scrimmage. You cannot let that Broncos offensive line dominate you, because if they do, that gives Stidham some time to throw, survey the field, find open receivers. Also, that can open up the running game with Harvey. Plus, that definitely can create space for Sutton and Franklin. Now, on offense for the Patriots, Drake May has to continue to be Drake May. He's been playing at MVP level all season. He's done great. Well, he's done pretty good in the 2 playoff games against the Chargers and Texans. So he's got to continue that for one more game in order to lead the Patriots to the Super Bowl by getting a win here in Denver. Also, you definitely going to need the running game in this one. So you're going to have to either have a dose of Stevenson and Henderson or a mix of both. Like I've just mentioned a few minutes ago, definitely need Hunter Henry here in this moment to step up as well, because he could definitely be an X factor. He knows the AFC West from all those years playing with the Chargers, so he definitely knows the Broncos pretty well. Also, the offensive line definitely has to dominate on the line of scrimmage, because that Broncos front is too doggone good with dudes like Allen, Greenlaw, Singleton, Jones. Because, man, those dudes can disrupt any game. They're aggressive, opportunistic. They can force turnovers. Same thing as the Patriots. Matter of fact, these defenses are mirror images of each other. They're both physical. They're very stout. They have great fronts. They have pretty good secondaries. They love to get after the ball as well as the quarterback. So whichever defense can impose their will on the offensive line and which offense can move the ball consistently and score will win this game and will punch their ticket to the Super Bowl. Now, here's my prediction. Now, I know a lot of people are looking at this game on paper thinking that it's a major mismatch because Bo Nix is not playing. But I have too much respect for the Broncos defense. They're definitely going to keep this a competitive game. They're going to force Maine to some turnovers. But the Patriots offense and their talent are going to be a little too much. So I got the Patriots winning this game 23-17 in Denver. And they'll go back to their first Super Bowl in 8 years.